A lot of people struggle with pull-ups. Sure, maybe you've already hit 10 reps, maybe even more, and don't get me wrong, that's a solid achievement. But there is still a huge difference between doing pull-ups and doing them so effortlessly, dynamically, that it looks like gravity just doesn't apply to you anymore. And that's exactly what we are talking about today. In this video, I'll show you a specific approach and very practical tips that won't just increase your max reps, you will literally start flying on the bar, just like you see here. On top of that, you will build serious pulling strength and explosiveness, which transfers directly to things like the muscle up. And I'm not talking about ugly sloppy muscle ups, I mean clean, strict, fully strength-based muscle ups where your pulling power does all the work. So if you want your pull-ups to look exactly like this, let's get into it. Let's start from the very beginning and quickly talk about beginners. And even if you are more advanced, don't skip this part. You might find something here that helps you strengthen your weak links even more. If your pull-ups aren't technically solid yet and you can only do around 3 to 5 reps, then honestly it doesn't make sense to focus on strict pull-ups just yet. Instead, you should work on assisted pull-ups with resistance bands, isometric holds, which are one of the best tools for learning pull-ups, negatives, and also shrugs. This will build the foundation you actually need. Now, once you've built some base strength and you can do between 5 to 10 pull-ups, this is where the most important part of this video starts. And if your max is somewhere in this range, you are in a very good position. Let me tell you why. You don't need complicated programming. You don't need fancy exercises. To build strength and explosiveness here, the best thing you can do is simply pull-ups with your own body weight. A great starting point is something like 3 sets of 8 reps, but here's a very important tip. Don't always stay in the exact same rep range. Try to push at least one set a little higher. For example, aim for 9 reps even if the last rep isn't perfectly clean, even if you need a tiny bit of keep. That small push matters. Now, at this level, I want to give you a very powerful tool that won't destroy your recovery, but can massively improve how your pull-ups look. And that is explosive pull-ups. Imagine a normal pull-up, same movement path, nothing changes technically, but now your goal is to pull as fast and as powerfully as possible. You fully extend your elbows at the bottom and pull your chin clearly above the bar. And you can even hold the top position for a moment. At the beginning of your workout, while you are fresh, start with something like 3 sets of 3 reps. And I know what you might be thinking, my max is 10 reps, why only 3? Isn't training close to failure important for strength? And great questions. And here's the answer. In this exercise, we are training explosiveness, and explosiveness only exists in the first few reps. With every rep, speed drops, and once speed drops, explosiveness is gone, so there is no reason to keep going. The goal is simple, few reps, every rep at 100% intent, as fast and as dynamic as possible. From a more scientific perspective, this allows you to recruit more motor units and force your muscles to work harder. And trust me, even adding these short explosive sets once per week will make your regular pull-ups sets feel lighter and easier over time. Extremely effective approach. We talk a lot about pull-ups, but weight dips are also important, so if you want to learn a few of my technical secrets for weight dips, grab the free video, link is in the description. Another thing I recommend for people in the 5 to 10 rep range is strengthening weak points using only body weight. For example, if you struggle to get your chin above the bar on the last reps, your top range is weak. In that case, simply add top position holds. They are not extremely exhausting, they won't destroy you, but they can help a lot. As you can see, this approach is very simple, but very effective. However, this is just the beginning, because the real training and the real back strength starts now, so listen carefully. Once you reach 10 to 12 or more reps in a set, the best thing you can do is start adding weight. But how do you structure that properly? On one training day, you can still do bodyweight pull-ups. That's one stimulus. A few days later, you do weighted pull-ups with more intense rep ranges, for example sets of 5. And I will tell you this straight, almost all of my pull-up strength was built using added weight. Weighted pull-ups are what make bodyweight pull-ups feel insanely light. Set yourself a goal, at least once or twice per week for a full year. Do weighted pull-ups. You won't believe how much your max improves and how effortless your pull-ups feel after that. The key is consistency and very slow progression. Even adding 1 kg every 1 to 2 weeks is enough. For example, 3 sets of 5 reps. Add 1 kg. Keep the same reps and repeat for several weeks. When you hit a plateau and can't add more weight, reduce the reps. For example, 3 sets of 3 and continue progressing. At the end, you can test your 1 rep max and start the whole process again with higher weights. At that point, you will even be strong enough to do ranges like 3 to 8 reps with added weight. And one more exercise I highly recommend for both explosiveness and lightness, and especially for learning muscle ups: diagonal pull-ups with a slight swing. This movement closely mimics the pull-up you actually use in a muscle up. And finally, one last key tip: even when you are doing heavy weighted pull-ups, even triples, always try to pull explosively and dynamically. As I explained earlier, this recruits more motor units, allows you to generate more force, and over time leads to better progress. Even just thinking about moving fast will make you stronger. Of course, always stay in control and maintain clean technique. And that's it for this video. If you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It generally helps me the channel grow. So, see you in the next one.